Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. Before we start the session, we'll have a small chanting. As I told you last week, in the yogic approach, we always chant initially a little bit to build that positive energy. So last week we chanted 3 verses, and a very good thing is a few youngsters have gotten together and they all chanted these 3 verses. And they had sent those audio files to the volunteers, and they have placed those audio files in such a way that they will be chanting after me. So the idea is the group chanting is very important. So we'll try it out today, and those of you who are at home, who are watching, you can also chant. So I will be chanting half a verse, half a line, and then their chant you'll be able to hear, and you can chant along with them. So they will be playing the file now. We'll chant verses 8, 9 and 10. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha
Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha
Kripascha Samitinjayah
Kripascha Samitinjayah
Ashwathama Vikarnascha
Ashwathama Vikarnascha
Saumadattistatthaivacha
Saumadattistatthaivacha
Anye cha bahavah shuraha
Anye cha bahavah shuraha
Madarte tyakta jivitaha
Madarte tyakta jivitaha
Nana shastra praharanaha
Nana shastra praharanaha
Sarve yuddha visharadaha
Sarve yuddha visharadaha
Aparyaptam tadasmakam
अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं
बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं
पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां
पर्याप्तं त्विदमेतेषां
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम्
बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम्.
So I think it is a wonderful effort by these youngsters to try and create the same effect, live effect, if we have it actually in the auditorium. What is most interesting is very enthusiastically there are also a couple of very young kids. I think their ages are just 5 or 6. They have also chanted. So that shows the enthusiasm, and it will help others to follow easily. So I wanted to try this out today. If this works out, so that if this works out well, we can later, after finishing the series, if the necessity arises, to continue the Bhagavad Gita sessions, our usual Bhagavad Gita sessions online for a while. We can use this method of chanting so that the energy levels are very conducive for you to absorb this higher wisdom. So very nice. So last week I was explaining to you verse number 8 and 9 of chapter 1, where you have a choice to either follow your conscience or you follow your ego. That path which will take you towards the truth, and that path which will take you down. And inner strength comes to a person who follows his or her conscience meticulously. See, your strength in life is not determined by your external achievements. You may acquire a lot of wealth. You may acquire a lot of external name, fame, power, all these things. But if you want inner strength, this is the starting point. Following your conscience, living a life of satyam. Satyam means attuning your mind, your actions, everything to your conscience. I know so many people who are very successful, but they are, highly vulnerable. They don't have the inner strength. They are highly insecure. Beautifully portrayed by the character of Dhritarashtra, it is said that when he was coronated as a king, he never took the crown out of his head. Even while sleeping, he was wearing the crown. That's why his name is Dhritarashtra. Rashtra means the kingdom, one who is so stubbornly attached to the kingdom. Dhritarashtra, the meaning. So what is said in the Mahabharata is that the day Dhritarashtra became the king, he stopped sleeping because of the crown which he was wearing. He refused to remove it. And Gandhari told him many a times, why do you have to wear it when you're sleeping? But he was feeling so insecure to take the crown out of his head. So here is an example of a great king. He had everything, but he was highly, highly insecure. In the Ramayana, Ravana was a character, He was a ruler of the three worlds. He had everything with him, but no, he felt very insecure. And that is what was the cause of his destruction. When his sister Surpanaka came and told him about Sita, immediately his mind went to Sita. He thought, no, I should possess her, otherwise I cannot be happy. You should read these Puranas with this yogic approach. You will get a lot of messages. Same thing in the Bhagavatam, in Krishna's story. Kamsa, he was again a powerful king, but highly insecure. Actually, the last few years of his life, he was so insecure that he couldn't sleep. He was constantly thinking of Krishna out of fear that what will happen if I'm killed. So these sort of characters are given in our Puranas so that you can get the message, and that message is any amount of external achievement will not give you that inner strength. The inner strength comes from within only, and that comes when you get aligned to your own conscience. So all these characters, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Ashwatthama, all these people were great achievers in life, but they lacked this fundamental quality, that is following one's own conscience. They supported the cause of unrighteousness. So why I am taking this verse number 8 is because he is beautifully given 7 characters, and each of the characters represents something within you. And in this context, as far as the strength, inner strength is concerned, there are 7 reasons why you don't follow your conscience. As I told you, these same verses when I took earlier, it was a different flavor, and when I had taken the Gita Dhyanam, when I explained about Bhishma, Drona, that was a comprehensive explanation how Bhishma represents many things actually, Drona, each one, many, many weaknesses within you. And I had also explained, like for example, who killed Drona, who was a cause for Bhishma's death. That has a significance. So much is there. Now, but here I am only picking out that one facet which is related to inner strength and conscience. So what does Bhishma represent? Last week we saw this. Your inability to distinguish between the higher and the lower. Because he took an oath that I will protect the king. Now whether the king is good or bad, he said, no, my oath is more important. Even if the king did things which were destructive to the kingdom, to everybody else, and to himself, still Bhishma said, no, my oath is only more important. So this is the inability to distinguish between the higher and the lower. So one is theoretically, see, there are 2 stages to this. First is what is the higher, what is the lower. How do we first of all define the higher and the lower? That I'll explain a little bit before we go to the other characters. Anything which gives you long-term benefit, which uplifts you, which builds your inner strength, which gives you peace of mind and gets you closer towards divinity is the higher. Anything which is harmful to you in the long run, but which may give you an immediate enjoyment, but in the long run it will completely pull you down. It will take you away from divinity. It will lower your consciousness. That is lower. In one of the other chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, he says this so beautifully. He says those things, which are really good for you in the long run, they are usually unpalatable to start with. You don't enjoy them so much, good habits. Whereas those things which are harmful to you in the long run, he says they are very, very pleasant to start with. This is a general law which he is giving. And it's so true. If you were to see those things which are harmful in the long run, like for example, alcohol, drugs, all these things give you an immediate pleasure or kick. But in the long run, they can completely ruin your life. So you need to learn this theory first, to know this higher wisdom, to know what is beneficial for you in the long run and what is not beneficial for you in the long run. The discernment between the higher and the lower. This is first a theory, but then the second step is the most difficult thing. However much you know, when you actually face a temptation, when you actually face a challenge, that agitations, the stress which your mind goes through clouds your discrimination faculty, as it were. It completely clouds your discrimination faculty. And whatever wisdom you have, you're unable to use it at a moment of crisis. So that is the second step in sadhana, which is practicing and developing the ability to distinguish between the higher and lower when you're facing challenges in life. It's very easy to philosophize when everything is going on fine. But when something goes wrong, that is the real test. All these great characters, they failed that test. However great they were. We will be seeing that. So these are the two aspects of the sadhana which you need to practice and master. First is, week after week, this wisdom is being given to you. And then when the advanced courses are there, you attend them. And now we'll see the possibility of opening up all these things online also, so that people who are far away, and if those who are unable to come, they can also benefit by that. But all these things will give you that higher wisdom. It will ensure that this wisdom gets absorbed into your system. This is one aspect. Then the second aspect is through your personal sadhana, you should build your inner strength to such an extent where whenever you face a challenge in life, at that time you should still be able to maintain that discrimination between the higher and the lower. So in the Bible, this has been depicted. When Christ was, when he did a lot of fasting, which is a tapas, the austerities he did. to enhance his spiritual powers, to get connected with the divine, at the end it is said that Satan came and tempted him. He had to go through the 3 stages of temptations. He said, I'll give you all the wealth in the world. That was the first temptation. I will, make you very, very powerful. Like this, he went on tempting. But Christ didn't fall for any temptation. And then he said, I'll give you the various healing powers, miracles, the capacity to do miracles, so that people will look up to you. And that was a time when Christ said, get thee behind me, O Satan, I shall have none at thy hands. It's a beautiful depiction of that inner war. So when there are temptations, that is when you should take that stance. Whenever you face a crisis, the tendency of the mind is to immediately fall from the higher to the lower. All your wisdom goes away. So this capacity you can develop only if you do your daily sadhana. Yoga Sankirtan is one of the most powerful sadhanas, the secrets of the yogis and siddhas, and that is there with you. So do it every day. So when you go on practicing these 2 aspects over a period of time, you will be following the higher all the time. You will be doing things that will raise your consciousness. You will choose things in life which will take you towards the infinite. And slowly, you will find that will give you tremendous inner strength. So this is the first point, first reason why you don't follow your conscience. Bhishma, the inability to distinguish between the higher and the lower. Now, we'll take the character of Drona. Drona was such a powerful teacher of archery and all the other weapons, how to wield the various weapons. He was a brilliant teacher. He was a disciple of Bhagavan Parashurama. And he was a past master in his field. Actually, when Drona came to teach the Pandavas and Kauravas, Bhishma, he came out and received him. He said, it is so wonderful that you have come here, and my request is you should teach the princes. You should teach them whatever you know, all the how to wield the various weapons. So he was such a powerful teacher, but he also didn't follow his conscience. The reason was, if you study his character, he had this tendency to move away from his duties. If you were to read Bhishma's story in the Mahabharata, it's very, very interesting. They have depicted him moving away from his duties many a times, not once, several times. The first instance when he moved away, I'm giving you a few incidents from his life. There are so many incidents, but a few incidents which are relevant here was when Karna approached him. Now, Karna was a son of the charioteer, and when he approached Drona and he asked him can you teach me archery? I have a deep desire to learn archery. Karna had a very, very deep passion for archery. And Drona refused to teach him. He said, no, I have taken a vow to teach only the royalty, all the Pandavas and the Kauravas, the princes. So I cannot admit you into my school, into my Gurukul. Now, here is a classic example. See, a teacher should be impartial. He should know when a true student approaches him, he should know that this person is very sincere. And Karna was very, very sincere about learning archery. There were two people, one was Arjuna, the other was Karna. Both of them were sincere to the core, Now when such a student approaches a great teacher like Drona, it becomes his duty to teach him. Instead, he said, no, I am bound by the rules. I have to teach the royalty, so I cannot teach you. And that itself was actually false. Karna himself points out. Then he asks him, oh teacher, then who is this person whom you are teaching? He showed Ashwatthama, who was Drona's own son, who was also learning along with the Pandavas and Kauravas from Drona. So he pointed out to him and said, is he a prince? Why are you teaching him? Just because he is your son, you are teaching him. When Karna said that, his father also, who was there with him, he said, no, you should not talk disrespectfully to the teacher. And Drona also said, yes, this is my decision. And Karna just bowed down and left. So this is a classic example where he had this tendency to not to do his duty properly. There are two facets of Drona which I am going to explain today. Both these facets are related to duties only. The inability to stick to your duties. That is the second reason why you act against your conscience. Another instance is when Ekalavya, who was also a great student, when he approached Drona and he said, I want to learn this. He was a hunter by profession, and Drona said, no, I cannot teach you. And Ekalavya built a statue of Drona for his inspiration. And every day when Drona used to teach the Pandavas and Kauravas, he used to hide behind a tree and watch whatever Drona was teaching. And he went and practiced. And the story goes that he developed extraordinary expertise in archery. If you really see, what Ekalavya did was wrong, in the sense, once a teacher says, I will not teach you, it is wrong to hide behind a tree and learn. That amounts to stealing. But considering his deeper motive of wanting to learn archery, when Drona came to know about this, he went to Ekalavya and he said, I appreciate your great talent, but what you did was wrong. You shouldn't have hidden behind the tree and learnt. It amounts to stealing the knowledge from someone. So as a punishment, he said, I ask you for the right thumb, because without the thumb, you cannot wield the bow and arrow. And Ekalavya gave his thumb as Guru Dakshina, because Guru Dakshina means repayment towards a Guru for learning. And there are different types of Guru Dakshinas mentioned in the Shastras. One Guru Dakshina is when a teacher gives personal training to the students. Then the student can't decide what to give to the teacher. The teacher says, you do this, you give this to me as Guru Dakshina, you give this. So then the student goes about fulfilling that. This was one rule. And of course, for those students whom the teacher did not use to, when the teacher didn't train them personally, then it is up to the students. Whatever out of gratitude they wanted to offer, they could offer. So like this they had distinguished. In some other context, I'll explain that. But the key here is, he asked this terrible Guru Dakshina to Ekalavya. That was his right thumb. Now yes, no doubt Ekalavya had done a great sin by stealing the knowledge from Drona. But as a true teacher, he could have corrected Ekalavya. He could have put him on the right path. He could have taken a few other things as Guru Dakshina so that he doesn't misuse this art. Instead, he asked for the right thumb, due to which for his entire life he will never be able to pursue archery thereafter. That's a terrible thing, a terrible punishment, because he was a small boy who did it, innocently. And it is not that Drona was so hell-bent upon righteousness, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have sided Duryodhana at all. For all the evil qualities which Duryodhana had, then he must have not taught him also. So he didn't follow this principle, even though he claimed that this is all this, I'm doing it for dharma. If you really go into it, he swerved from his duty. When he grew up, when he grew up in the sense when Ashwatthama, his son, grew up, he paired with, he joined hands with Duryodhana. And the only reason why Drona was fighting this war was because his son was siding Duryodhana. Otherwise, Drona, his conscience was clearly telling him that what Duryodhana was doing was wrong, and what the Pandavas are only righteous, and Krishna himself is there on the other side. All this Drona knew. He does mention it to Bhishma many a times. But his son Ashwatthama was siding Duryodhana. He was a close friend of Duryodhana. Therefore, Drona didn't have that strength, to say that I will not fight this battle. In order to protect his son, he was so attached to his son that he also sided unrighteousness. Again, a clear cut moving away from what your duties are. He had no duty to fight the war. He was a teacher. So this is the first aspect we can see in Drona, that is the tendency to move away from duties. So in life, you always have this choice. Either you do your duties properly, or you go on claiming your rights. Your focus is only on claiming your rights. I'm not saying you should not claim your rights. I'm saying your entire focus is only on claiming rights, but not on contributing, not on doing your duties. So you have various roles to play in life. In each of those roles, you have certain duties. As a husband, you have certain duties. Or as a wife, you have certain duties. As a father or mother, you have certain duties towards your children. As a son or daughter, you have certain duties towards your parents. As a citizen of the country, you have certain duties towards your country. As a human being, you have duties towards the whole world. Personally, you are using this body all the time. So you have duties toward this body. You have to take care of this body very well. We'll be seeing that point also in the series of building inner strength. So like this, if you're working in your office, you have certain duties as an employee. If you're a boss, you have certain duties towards people who are under you. As a teacher, you have duties towards your students. As a student, you have duties towards your teacher. Like this, in every role of your life, you have what they call as niyatam karma. And in the 3rd chapter he says, niyatam kuru karmatvam. And you should always do whatever you ought to do in life, O Arjuna, he says. Whenever you do your duties, you will be aligned with your conscience. So this tendency to move away from your duties is the next reason why you don't follow your conscience. You always justify, you give various justifications for not following your duties. So I would suggest, as sadhaks, you should define your roles in life clearly. It's not enough if you perform just one role well. All the roles which you have to play in life, you need to list down. You have a role as a citizen, you have a role as a human being, you have a role as a parent, as a child, as a son or daughter, as an employee. Like this, you write down your roles, and in each of those roles, know what your duties are, and do your duties to the best of your ability. This entire world is like a stage, and you have various roles to play. This is what Shakespeare said. All the world's a stage, and all men and women mere players. Beautiful lines, Shakespeare was also a great thinker, a philosopher. So you have these roles to play. Now, are you playing those roles to the best of your ability? Who can answer this question? Your own conscience will tell you. How many people I know, their entire time they invest only in work. They leave out the rest of the rules. There are so many people I know who take up to this habit of drinking or drug addiction, due to which none of the roles in life they are able to perform properly. They are unable to go and work properly, they are unable to relate to their spouses properly, yet they will not leave that drink or whatever that object is which is pulling them away from the duties. So from this moment onwards, you follow this principle. Always do your duties to the best of your ability. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. In the 6th chapter, he defines, Krishna defines who is a sannyasi, who is a yogi. Sannyasi means renunciate. So your idea is that sannyasi means one who should give up things physically. No. He says, anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha. One who does the karyam karma. Karyam karma means all the obligatory duties, but without any attachment to the fruits. Anashrita karma phalam. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. That person is a yogi. That person is a sannyasi. Very, very powerful message he gives in the Gita. Yet, your concept of a sannyasi is very difficult to remove from the mind, is that a sannyasi means one who shirks his duties, who leaves his family, who leaves everything and goes away somewhere, and I don't know doing what. Because if a person says, I want to get away from the family, I want to get away from the worldly affairs and go and sit somewhere in the forest and meditate, there is no meaning to that, because if you want to meditate, you need to learn to meditate wherever you are. It is an internal phenomenon. Yes, there were a few people who took up to solitude in order to do research, like how a scientist isolates himself or herself in a laboratory to do some research. That is a different thing. But otherwise, this concept which people have, especially those who are in spirituality, they face a very, very grave danger, because there is a tendency to misunderstand this. They stop doing their duties in the name of spirituality. So if you are doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana every day in the right way, what is the test of that? The test of that is you will be able to participate in the world better, and you will be able to play your roles much, much better in your life. As a spouse, you will play your role so wonderfully. You will do your duties there. As a daughter-in-law or a son-in-law, you have duties towards your in-laws. You will do them perfectly. As as parents, you will take care of your children very well. When I say take care of your children, I'm not talking of, today there is so much of attachment. You don't give the freedom to children. Or this is on one extreme, or people just give the children full freedom. Both the extremes are wrong. So doing your duties is taking the middle path in every role. That is why I always say that if you come and tell me that, sir, I'm doing the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, this benefit, this has happened to me, that has happened to me, I will not accept. Bring your spouse to me, bring those people who are very close to you. They will have to say that yes, we are able to feel, we are able to see positive changes in this person. Then only I will say that you are doing your sadhana properly. So if anybody comes to me, there are many people who come to me sometimes and tell me that, sir, now that I am doing a lot of sadhana, I am not able to relate with people, I am not able to relate to the world. Then means you are not doing your sadhana properly. True sadhana, if you do your Yoga Sankirtan every day, it will give you unconditional love. It will help you to relate with others better actually. When we come to the 12th chapter, we'll see. There is Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. Maitreya means friendly, not hating anybody. All these are divine qualities. So, the tendency to shirk your duties is a weakness of the mind. You have to be very, very careful, which pulls you away from your conscience. If you're following your conscience, that will clearly instruct you. It will tell you to play your roles in life properly. Now, what is interesting is, Drona didn't stop with merely shirking his duties. He kept on giving some other reason. See, he was attached to something else, due to which he swerved from his duties. But instead of saying that it is because of this attachment that I am unable to do my duty, he started projecting his attachments as duties. For example, when it came to siding the Kauravas, that is supporting unrighteousness in the war, why did he do that? Because of his attachment towards his son. So here, he didn't do his duty as a father also properly. He should have corrected his son. And he didn't do his duty towards the humanity also, because he should have sided righteousness. He should have been in the Pandava camp, if at all he has to fight. First of all, he had no duty to fight because he was a teacher. He was not a warrior. But if at all he had to choose that, he should have chosen the righteousness side. Instead, he chose unrighteousness. All this is because of his attachment towards his son. He was so attached to his son that even though his son went into bad company, he never corrected him. He never put that effort to correct him. Now, instead of giving this weakness, instead of understanding this weakness, he projected it in a different way. He said, why do I have to fight for Duryodhana? Because I have a duty toward this kingdom. I earn my bread and butter here. In Tamil they say, no, naan uppu tinnan, they say, which means I am obligated to this person. I ate the other person gave me salt. They say salt is not literally, you should not take salt. What they mean is, my sustenance itself I got from that person. So I have a duty towards that person. See, he was always giving that reason. So instead of accepting, instead of understanding that he was swerving away from his duty towards humanity, duty towards righteousness, he camouflaged his weakness with another concept of duty. He said, I have duty towards this kingdom and the king, whoever be the king, because I taught here and I made my living here. So this is my obligation. But actually it was not an obligation, because he had already taught whatever amount, whatever fees which the king was paying him was for his role as a teacher. So that was neutralized already. He didn't have any more duty towards the kingdom. Yet he portrayed that. This is a very, very common mistake which people make. They always give some very noble, so-called noble reason for swerving from the path of, swerving away from the path of truth. Why don't you spend time with your family? When you ask a person who's not spending enough time with his family, he says, no, I have duty towards my company, wherever I'm working. I know a person who got married, and he has 2 children. He hardly spends any time with his family, always with his friends, And when the wife asked him, wife and kids, all of them, when they used to ask him, why are you not spending time with us? He always used to say, because it's my duty, they are all my friends. And how can I be selfish just for my family's sake? How can I not do the duties there? He always used to give this as a reason. Of course, once he came for the lectures, his conscience started getting triggered, awakened. Then he himself understood his mistake. Why aren't you doing your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana? Supposing a person is not doing. See, that is your first duty. Your duty, if you want to improve yourself, you have to get connected with the divine. Otherwise, how can you make your life better? So the path which is suggested is sadhana, the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day. Now, you skip the sadhana for various reasons. And then many times, you justify it to your own mind. Oh, I am not doing my sadhana because I have to do my duties in life. I have to take care of my parents, I have to take care of my spouse, I have to take care of the family. And you go and talk to the family members, they will also give you the same complaint. That time you will say, oh, I have to do this duty. So you always tend to shirk duty in one role and give the reason as the duty from another role. So you should be careful about this weakness. This is a double fault by Drona. Number one, he swerved from his duty. Number two, he started giving reasons and he started projecting to himself and others. Why I am saying to himself is, when you go on telling a lie, slowly you will start believing it. How do we say that it is only because of his attachment to his son that he fought this war? Not because of a duty sense. You know, when he fought the war, first 9 days Bhishma was a commander-in-chief. Then when he fell, Drona took over. I think it was for 6 days or so. He was the commander-in-chief. Now when he was the commander-in-chief, he went on fighting. He resorted to all unrighteous means and all that. That part I'm not getting into now. But when he started using unrighteous means in the war, Krishna thought that this is time when Drona should not be kept alive, because he started killing innocent people, innocent soldiers. You know, there was a rule that a swordsman should fight with a swordsman, an archer should fight with an archer. It was like that. But whereas Drona, he was using his divine weapons to kill soldiers who were all standing there. And the rule of the war was from morning till sunset they will fight and they'll take a rest and again in the night and again come back in the morning. But Drona changed that rule and he fought, he attacked the Pandava camp even in the night. All sorts of things he did. And then when Krishna decided, he said, see, this person, it's not possible to defeat him or kill him because he's so powerful. The only way is we'll have to shake him. And he is extremely attached to his son Ashwatthama. He asked Bhima to go to Drona and tell him, your son Ashwatthama is dead. He has been killed. And then Krishna also, he was such a powerful thinker, intellect he had. He said, listen, even though Bhima goes and tells that to Drona will not accept that. He will finally come to Yogishri and ask him, because Yogishri is a person who will never tell a lie. So he'll ask him, is my son killed? And he told Yogishri, you will have to tell a lie. Yogishri said, that is impossible, I cannot tell a lie. Then Krishna said, okay, no issue. There is an elephant, and that name of that elephant was Ashwatthama. So he asked Bhima to kill that elephant, whose name was Ashwatthama. And then, when Drona came and asked, checked up with Yudhishthira, is my son killed? He asked Yudhishthira to tell him, yes, Ashwatthama is dead, but it is an elephant. And when he said that it is an elephant, Krishna took his conch and blew it loudly so that Drona could not hear that part of the statement. So this was the plan, and it worked. The moment Drona came to know that his son was dead, actually his son was not dead, but when he thought that his son was dead, that second he dropped his bow, his arrows, everything, and decided to leave his body. He was also a great tapasvi. He was a yogi, but he had fallen a little bit. Now, where did all his sense of duty go? The moment he was informed that his son was dead, instantly his duty towards the kingdom, his duty towards Duryodhana, all these things vanished. He decided to give up his life. That incident is a clear proof that the motive for him to fight this war was not a sense of duty, but it was because of the extreme attachment which he had for his son. So these are the two facets of this reason. Number one, the tendency not to do your duties, but rather pursue your attachments in life. It could be attachment to a person, it could be attachment to an object like alcohol or drugs, it could be attachment to anything. Whenever your mind gets attached to someone or something, then you will not be able to do your duties properly in life. So that is the tendency. And the second aspect of that tendency is even more dangerous. That is, you start giving justifications, and the justification which you give is some other duty from some other role you pick up and say, it is because of this that I am not doing. So you have to be very, very careful about the tricks which the mind plays. So the first reason, inability to distinguish between the higher and the lower. The second reason is the tendency to move away from the duties. And as I told you, you cannot have one duty in your whole life. In each and every role of your life, you have duties. So that is why they have portrayed it well in Drona's character. As a teacher, he didn't do his duty. As a father, he didn't do his duty properly to his son. He should have corrected him when he went into the wrong path. There is another instance also where it's a very powerful weapon, astra, called Brahmashirsha. It's like the most powerful atom bomb, it's like that. And so Drona taught Arjuna that secret, how to use that, how to invoke that and how to use that. Now the rule was that that secret of how to use that weapon should not be taught to everyone. The teacher has to find out whether the student is worthy enough, whether the student has a pure mind, and he has to put him through several tests and then only teach that secret, because otherwise that can be misused. So he felt Arjuna was a very righteous person, which is a fact. Which was a fact. So he taught him that. But when Ashwatthama, he came to know of this, every day he started pestering Drona, his father. Oh, you are being partial towards Arjuna. You should teach me, you should teach me. And Drona tried to resist that. But ultimately his attachment took over. He taught that secret to Ashwatthama. And that was the very cause for great problems in the Mahabharata war. Because when Ashwatthama got angry, he took the Brahmashirsha, he invoked that and he sent it on the Pandavas. And Arjuna also sent the same weapon. And the story is that if those two weapons had clashed, the whole world will be destroyed. They were so powerful weapons. Of course, I'm not getting into the full story how that was neutralized and all that. But the beauty is Vyasa, the great Veda Vyasa, who was a man of great tapas, he came in between and he told these two people to withdraw the weapons. That was possible. So Arjuna immediately withdrew. But when Ashwatthama tried to withdraw, he was unable to withdraw it, because the rule is, if you have an impure mind, you cannot withdraw this weapon, Brahmashirsha. And they didn't know what to do. And then Ashwatthama said, okay, I had aimed it at the Pandavas, so I will now direct the weapon to the son of Abhimanyu, who was a son of Arjuna, So I will direct it towards the womb, so that the world will still be Pandava-less if the embryo is destroyed. Of course, Krishna intervened and saved the embryo, and that's how the great Parikshit was born. These are really great incidents which they have depicted. But what is the message there? Knowing very well the negative nature of Ashwatthama, still Drona taught him that secret because of his extreme attachment. So there also he didn't do his duty properly. He didn't, as a father, he didn't do his duty. So 2-3 rules they have depicted, and how he kept on swerving from his duties, but then he kept giving his the reason as, no, I'm doing this because I have this other duty, I have this duty. So some reason, noble reason, he was constantly giving. So you have to be careful. Your mind is ready to play tricks. Actually, it's not the mind per se, it is the ego which is playing tricks through the mind. So you will have to be very, very careful. So if you're a true sadhak, never say, I don't have time for my family, I don't have time for my children, I don't have time for my work. Everything has its place, and you need to learn to bring that balance in life. Balance is the key to spiritual progress. When you eat food, the nutrition from the food has to be distributed to all the parts of your body. Then only your body will be healthy. If only your right hand is taking up all the nutrition and the nutrition is not going to the other parts, your right hand will become very strong, but your overall health will completely deteriorate. Similarly, in life it's not enough if you just focus on one area alone. Then you become an addict in that area. Not only alcoholic. If you are addicted to work, you are called a workaholic. Similarly, some people, they get addicted to some relationship. Then all other relationships go for a 6. Some people get addicted to laziness. They don't get up and do their exercises. They just laze around. And they will go on giving reasons for that. There was one person who used to keep his room very, very dirty. And when some visitor used to visit his room, what he used to do is, all the dirt used to be there. He used to take a towel and put it on that lump of dirt, so that it's covered. If you go to his room, you can see a lot of lumps. That was his way of hiding that from people who used to come to his room. So one day, his close friend, he said, what are you having in these lumps? And he removed that. It was all books and other dirt. He had not cleaned the room for many months. It was all very dirty. He said, why aren't you cleaning up? To which this man, he used to give, he gave a reason, He was lying down on the bed, apparently in a very relaxed frame of mind. This is tamas, laziness. So he gave a reason, a justification. He asked him, my friend, what is dirt? Dirt is nothing but misplaced matter, that's all. When the same thing is there in the waste paper basket, we say it is dirt. So what does it matter whether it is here or there? It is just misplaced matter, that's all. So he used to talk so philosophically and give such noble ideas and great philosophy in quote. But ultimately, what was happening? He was unable to conquer his weakness of laziness. So remember this. Your ego constantly comes and tempts you. It wants to take you away from the path of the conscience. And how does it do? It knows that if you perform your duties properly, now slowly, ego will lose its control over you. Therefore, it will try to pull you away from your duties. And one dangerous thing it will do is, it will bring some other duty. It will try to give a noble reason for you to shirk your duties. So once you know that this is what is right, don't compromise. If you know, see, you all know, you have to do your daily sadhana, you have to do your daily exercises, kriyas, all these things you know, you have to eat the right type of food. These are all a part of your duties only. You have to spend quality time with your family. And in an office, you should put your heart and soul into your work. You have to bring that balance. You know that. But yet you don't do it, and then you give noble reasons for shirking. So this week's sadhana is this only. Absorb these powerful principles which I have given you today and put them into practice. Every instance of your life you should start practicing this. Take a piece of paper and write down your roles first. And ask yourself, am I playing my roles properly? If you are not sure, ask the concerned person. There also the ego will not allow you to go to your spouse and ask, am I doing my duties properly? You will not have the courage to ask that. The ego will feel very hurt. But a person who does that, he can become a yogi. He or she. So this is Drona in you. Last week when I had mentioned Bhishma, there were several people who said, sir, it was so different from what you had explained earlier. Yes, as I told, I have been repeatedly telling you, the context here is building the inner strength. So we'll see the Gita Dhyanam, where I spoke about these characters, the complete facets of these characters and what they represent within you. We'll see how to, it's a long, about 28 lectures are there, and they are sort of ready for releasing. We'll see that, how to go about it, how to do it online, all that they have to set the system. We'll see that in the future. So the first two reasons now you know, think about them and start putting that effort to practicalize them in your life. You are rewarded according to your honest efforts only. The law of karma is infallible. For a person who does the sadhana properly, he or she will reap the benefits. So now we will take up a few questions. There are so many questions are there, and then we will do meditation. So the first question is by a very sweet and elderly lady from Florida, and her question is, I have done the online 10-day meditation course. I am 81 years old, losing memory, concentration, instant recall, etc. I have a doubt because you're saying you're losing memory, instant recall, but you're also saying I've done the online course. You're able to recall that. So you should come out of that belief system that you're losing. I want to get into a program to fight this. I walk every day and do yoga fairly. I'm in good health. Yogishri's program is excellent. I liked it a lot. I'm doing it every day. It looks as though he's sitting in front of me and teaching me one-on-one. I live in Tampa, Florida. Please reply. So the first thing which I want to tell you, which is also a message for all others, is that you have said, I am 81 years old. Actually, your body is 81 years old, but your soul has no age. This is something which you first need to digest, which you need to absorb. Because there is a general tendency today, there is a belief that as you grow old, your faculties will have to weaken. It is not a rule. I know many people, even at the age of 90, 95, who are fully alive and participative. You know, there was a man. He wanted to learn karate at the age of 90. Because all along his life, martial art was his passion, but he could never find time to pursue that. Then when he came and met me, I said, why not? You look very healthy, do it. So he went to a karate master. And the karate master first hesitated, but then seeing his enthusiasm, he agreed. So slowly he conditioned his body. In 5 years, he got a black belt. And he took photographs of that with his black belt, and he came and showed me, It was a very proud moment for him. Now, why I'm giving you this example, this is an inspiration for everyone. And I was extremely inspired. So, this thing of I'm losing my memory and all that, now the more you get into that belief, you will be strengthening that line of thought. And remember, the world is a projection of your thoughts. You're remembering the 10-day program. You're saying, I attended Yogishri sessions and they are wonderful. All these things you are remembering, which means that capacity to remember is there within you. So my suggestion would be two things. First is, you should do your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day. Fortunately, you're living in Florida, so right now, due to COVID situation, we'll anyway not be able to ship the audio CD. So fortunately, we have released the MP3 versions. It's a highly energized version, which I have, which took a little while for me to energize it. So that you can download and start listening to the Yoga Sankirtan every day. Because when this positive energy, when the higher healing energy enters each and every cell of your body, your brain, everything, that will make the cells healthy. All your memory cells will start becoming more healthy. So you should do the sadhana if you want benefits. Do your daily sadhana, number one. And number two, after your sadhana, this is specifically for you who has asked this question, after the sadhana, the meditation is over, just sit for a few minutes with your eyes closed and suggest to yourself very powerfully, I am young, I am youthful, I have a lot of strength and vigor, I have a powerful memory. So your question is how to fight against this. I did mention it even in the 10-day healing program, and that will anyway keep coming because these are all the same truths. Now, the way to overcome negative is not by fighting against the negative, but by asserting the positive. So if you say, I'm losing my memory, I'm forgetful, I want to fight against forgetfulness, it will not work. Instead, what is the opposite of forgetfulness? Remembering things. So you start suggesting to yourself, I remember everything, all the details very well. I have a very sharp memory. The more you start suggesting to yourself, slowly, your mind will accept that idea. And when your subconscious and deeper layers of your mind when they accept this idea, then that will become a reality for you. Why I'm asking you to do it after the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day is because when you do that Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, your vibrations will be very, very high. Your mind will be very calm. At that time, when you give yourself these positive suggestions, they will directly go into the deeper layers of your mind. So please try this and do tell us how you feel. Do this for about 2-3 months and then tell us what the positive changes are. And my request to the volunteers also, Ravi Kumarji, in case she misses this, you can send her this message, direct message from Yogishri, so that she will not miss it out, So that is the one question. There are a few questions which have been asked about the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana also. So that I will take up. First is Pranam Guruji. Can we listen to Yoga Sankirtan as a group with family? No. See, Yoga Sankirtan sadhana is not to be done in a group unless and until you are with the teacher. When the master calls you as a group and gives, that is a different thing. So don't apply this rule there. The Yoga Sankirtan audio material which have been created, that is meant for your personal sadhana. It is, don't play about with it. Please follow the rules properly, because these audio material are not mere musical CDs. They are like how you have an atom bomb or something. Similarly, they're very power packed. Tremendous energy has been infused into it. Each audio material took me 2 years to complete, to decode those vibrations and put it in a user-friendly way for you all to do the sadhana. It's not a joke. So what will happen is the energy, once the energy starts flowing within you, it will burn up a lot of karmas, a lot of release can happen. So when you do it as a group, supposing you're doing it with your family members, this happened actually. There was a mother who was doing it with her son, and suddenly some past issues of the mother started getting released. Certain incidents which had happened when she was young, some people had abused her and all that. So all that started coming out, those karmas, and they were getting released. So she started crying, tears started flowing from her eyes. And when the son saw that, he got very disturbed. And halfway through, he touched her, and the meditation also went. So she was also unable to release properly. And not only that, for the son, son became a little scared, and because he didn't even understand what was happening. There was total chaos. So this is not meant for group sadhana. This is meant for individual sadhana. That is why last week also I had said, see, even if you are attending these lectures as a family, remember, you have a one-on-one relationship with the teacher. So you're a sadhak. So you're a sadhak, your spouse is separately a sadhak, other family members, if they're acting, they're all sadhaks. And each one has to do his or her personal sadhana. You cannot share that. In certain cases, when there are some issues, I myself have suggested that, like to a couple, I suggested you listen to it together. But that was only for a specific period of time, for a specific purpose, to resolve certain issues which they had, which had come to surface. But those are, case-specific things. As a general rule, this is meant for you to do it alone and have a personal copy for yourself. Don't download this and immediately share it with others, even if they are family members. For each one, please download a separate copy, because there was a lady from US only. She asked me this question, not now, this happened a few years back, where she had bought this Yoga Sankirtan audio CD. That time only the audio CD was available, and she was listening to that. So one day her husband wanted to listen, so she borrowed her CD to, she lent her CD to her husband, which is quite normal only from a superficial point of view if you look at it. So he was also doing the sadhana with the same CD. And then what happened is she sent a message to me saying that for some reason, once he also started doing, her experiences in meditation started going away. Her wonderful experiences which she used to get, the purifying effect, the burning up of karmas, all those things started dwindling. And she was wondering what was happening. Could this be the reason? And I explained to her, yes, because when you download a material, when you use that for a while, that becomes, you develop a personal relationship with it. See, in the yogic language, we talk of energy of objects also. You develop personal relationships with objects. That is the meaning of even the idols which are there in the temples. They do what is called as prana pratishta. They consider them not as mere idols, but living beings. So you develop a very personal connection with your own tools, It is so that you should not share. There don't say I am being selfless, I have unconditional love. That is the base for you to build unconditional love. Okay, so don't do it as group sadhana. Each one have one for yourself, and stick to the sadhana on a personal basis. For group sadhana, we are in the process of getting those bhajan sankirtans done in a yogic way, which we used to do in the Gita lectures. We are in the process of getting that ready. I am not yet fully happy with the quality of it. It's a live session, live recordings. The energy is very powerful. That once they are ready, that also will be given out for MP3, as in the MP3 format for downloads. When that comes, I'll tell you. As a family, you can play that and do the sadhana. Okay. The next question regarding the Yoga Sankirtana is, Hari Om Yogishri, I have downloaded all the MP3 versions of Nirvana Shatkam, Sri Haridhyana, Mahashivadhyana and Yoga Vishramaha. I would like to know whether there is any specific order in which we need to listen for maximum benefit. Generally, the order which I have suggested is first you listen to Nirvana Shatkam, next day Sri Haridhyana, third day Mahashivadhyana, and then fourth day again go back to Nirvana Shatkam, fifth day Sri Haridhyana, sixth day Mahashivadhyana. So like this, 3 in one cycle. And then the Yoga Vishramaha which you're talking about is a Yogic Relaxation CD. So that you do once a week. You will have to lie down and do that. In case you are unable to lie down flat, no problem. You can keep a thin pillow here, that you make yourself comfortable. But that you should do only once a week. And some others have also asked about, can they do Yoga Sankirtan twice a day and all that. Please don't do that. Dosage is very important. So you will not be able to handle the energy. So that is why I have kept these practices to such an extent where they are very safe for you, but at the same time they will give you maximum benefits. So if you want maximum benefits, don't run at your own pace. You run at the pace which the teacher is setting for you. You will reap maximum benefits. Because there's so much of thinking and meditation which has gone into creating this system. This yogic approach, the principles of yogic approach are not so easy, to set. But they have been done. So follow them meticulously. Then there is one more question on the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana that also we'll take up. Hari Om Yogishri, I had purchased all the 3 Yoga Sankirtan CDs few years back. I did not have a CD player. Fortunately, you had given permission for us to copy it into our mobiles for listening. I have been doing the sadhana daily. Last week when you had announced about the energized MP3 versions, I immediately downloaded all of them and started doing sadhana with them. I should say the experience was unimaginable and at a different level. An amazing experience happened to me. My brother, who had not been talking to me for almost 15 years, suddenly called me last week and apologized to me for being extremely harsh to me. The thing is that this happened when I completed one round of Yoga Sankirtan with the MP3 sessions. I wish to sincerely thank you for providing us with this energized MP3 versions, which is a big boost to our sadhana. I have a small clarification. Would you be teaching this method of energizing in the future? This person is from Mumbai. Now, first of all, before answering the question, it's very wonderful that you had this experience. Now, I want to give a small message there. The reason why your brother called you after 15 years, you should first understand the cause and effect. You're sitting and listening to the MP3 Yoga Sankirtan. Suddenly, your brother who was fighting with you calls you. What is the connection? Apparently, it looks like there is no connection. It's not that. Whenever we have any problem in life, it is a karmic blockage which we have. In Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, we remove those karmic blockages. When the karmic blockages are released, then you will find that the problem, the circumstance changes miraculously. This has happened in so many people's life. Some people who say, I don't have jobs, when they have done the sadhana, not to get jobs. You do the sadhana without any motive for the love of it. When the blocks go away, automatically the circumstances will change for the better. And your experience of the energized MP3, I'm so happy. This shows that you're becoming more energy sensitive. Because you're right, see, when I initially released it as audio CD, I had more CD player only in mind. But people said we don't have CD player, so without any option I said, okay, now copy it to your phone and do that. But when I heard that version, when you copy it from the CD to the phone, even if you convert it into MP3 and put it there, I found that the energy was not up to the mark. That itself, people were telling me it was giving great results, tremendous effect they were able to feel. But I found that many audio frequencies were getting cut, certain low frequencies were getting cut. And not only from an audio quality point of view, from an energy point of view, see, this is a yogic method of doing pratishta, the infusing energy into objects. Now, in Yoga Sankirtan, whatever you're getting, it is energized. Now, further, when you convert, when you do that, there is that energy gets diluted. So that is why I had to bring this MP3 version now, because CD players are getting obsolete. And I had to work a lot on energizing it more, because you will be listening it in your cell. One important suggestion which I want to give you is that when you listen to it in your cell, please put your cell in flight mode and then listen. Halfway through, if you get some calls and all that, it will be highly disturbing. And secondly, the cell phones, they emit negative radiations. So flight mode, it becomes like any other clock or something, So it is very wonderful that you have benefited so much, but keep doing the sadhana. You will find more and more wonderful things happening in your life. And as they happen, do share them with us. Put it even in those comments of the YouTube. They were showing me that this place people can put their comments. It's very interesting. So put your positive experiences there so that it will inspire everyone. That's the way you can spread positive energy. Okay, we will have meditation now. Gently close your eyes. Deep breathing. As you inhale, feel the divine energy flowing into you. As you exhale, feel the divine healing energy spreading to each and every cell of your body. Let go of all your stress, all your worries. Relax and surrender completely to that infinite reality. Whatever be your problem, let go of that and receive this divine healing energy which is being invoked specially for you. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am getting connected with the infinite principle within me. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. From this moment onwards, I choose to do my duties in life to perfection. I choose to play each and every role in my life in a perfect way. Every time I do my duties consciously, I am in the process of exhausting my karmas and becoming one with the divine. I am that infinite supreme being. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Let your consciousness come back slowly. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, top of the head, the back of the head and your neck. And very, very slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today you received some very, very important points. Practice them. And regarding that question whether I'll be teaching how to energize things, whether I'll be teaching that in the future, we'll see, because these are all sacred sciences and they can be easily misused also. So a lot of purification of the mind is required. One has to dissolve the ego to a very good extent before these secrets are revealed, So according to the purification, I will be definitely revealing not only this, many, many secrets. But what is very important is for you to do your sadhana and purify your minds. Get rid of this ego. Okay? So do well. Practice the sadhana. Do your daily sadhana. Now the MP3 energized versions also are available for you. So make use of them and make your lives wonderful in all the aspects. Okay? Thank you.